The world is changing. Inspiration is everywhere. It has never been so easy to connect, share, and bring people together. We're learning from others and finding the best in ourselves. Challenging our beliefs. Sharing our vulnerability. Overcoming our fears. Transforming ourselves so we can transform the world. How far can we go?
This is London Real. I am Brian Rose. My guest today is Welcome to DeFi Live. My name is Brian Rose. I'm the founder of London Real, and this is our brand new program covering everything known as DeFi, which stands for decentralized finance. This is a $9 trillion a year marketplace just waiting to be disrupted. Today, I'm going to be talking about how I will teach you to profit from DeFi, which I'm calling the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. Now, look, we've all seen the news recently. We've all rode the markets the last couple of days. We've seen crypto crash. We've seen it rally back a little bit. But regardless of all of these coin movements, I want to tell you something, and listen to me carefully. Now is the best time to invest in DeFi. Now is the time. When you see volatility, when you see these cryptos crashing, now is the time to invest in DeFi. And today I'm going to explain exactly why. And the truth is this: decentralized finance is already revolutionizing the world. You just don't know it yet. And that's the truth. This incredible marketplace is now growing at breakneck speed. I am so excited to be involved in this. I can't even begin to tell you. Today, I'm specifically going to talk about three things. So pay attention. This is going to move very fast. First, I want to talk about why crashing crypto markets actually helps the acceleration of DeFi. Let me repeat that. The crashing of crypto markets actually helps the acceleration of DeFi markets, and it makes them anti-fragile. Anti-fragile. That's a term that was coined by the famous author Nassim Taleb. And let me just give you a quick example or definition of what it means to be anti-fragile. And pay attention, because this will make sense once I say it. And from Nassim himself, he says this, quote, "Some things benefit from shocks. They thrive and grow when exposed to volatility, randomness, disorder, and stressors, and they love adventure, risk, and uncertainty. Yet, in spite of the ubiquity of this phenomenon, it happens every day, there's no word for the exact opposite of fragile. So we're going to call it anti-fragile. Anti-fragility is beyond resilience or robustness. The resilient resists shocks and stays the same, but the anti-fragile gets better the more you shake it up. And the same is true with DeFi. And quite honestly, the same is true with me. And I think it was Nietzsche who famously said, that which does not kill us makes us stronger. I'm the same way. You put me through hard times, I get better and stronger and more resilient. The same is true about DeFi, and I'm going to talk about that today. Next, I want to talk about Black Thursday. And those of you that are new to this market might not remember March 12th of last year, 2020. And that's when we saw a major crash. We saw Bitcoin drop by 40%. We saw Ethereum drop by 30%. And that was in less than 24 hours over the fears of the global pandemic. We saw Ethereum gas fees shoot up, but we stress tested the system and we saw the birth of what's been called DeFi summer. This was an incredible period of innovation. And I'm going to talk about why I believe we're about to head in to the second DeFi summer based on all of this volatility. Next, I want to talk to you about lessons I've learned from my good friend, Robert Kiyosaki. And I think you're seeing a picture of us right now here of him being in studio. And Robert's given me so many lessons. He's been on the show 5 times. I first interviewed him back in 2014. I went to Phoenix, Arizona and interviewed him. I spoke to him on Monday. My episodes with Robert have been watched over 100 million times. Let me repeat that. My episodes with Robert have been watched over 100 million times. They've been translated into 10 or 20 different languages. And the lesson from Robert is this, and you all need to pay attention. Poor people work for money. Rich people make money work for them. Let me repeat that, because this is a life lesson. Poor people work for money. Rich people make money work for them. And today I want to talk about how you've been brainwashed. You have been told ever since you were a child that you are not responsible enough to manage your own money, that you don't even understand your own money. And these are lies that are perpetrated by our educational institutions, which are linked to our financial institutions, which are linked to our governments. And they're designed to keep you feeling stupid and ignorant so you can place your finances in the hands of those elite few on Wall Street, the City of London, both places I worked with over 15 years. And that's where they rip your eyes out on a regular basis. They charge you fees, margins, and they take control away from you, from your own money, your own livelihood, the future of your children. And the problem is that if you don't know anything about money, you have no freedom. And I want to talk about this concept today. And I want to tell you and share a video clip from Monday about Robert telling me exactly what he owns. And I'll just give you a preview. He doesn't own stocks. He doesn't own bonds. He doesn't own mutual funds, but he does own Bitcoin and Ethereum. We're not going to play that now, but I'll play that for you shortly. Lastly, I'm going to teach you how to profit from DeFi, what I'm calling the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. The opportunities here are seen only once in a lifetime. I guarantee. I have never seen anything like this before in my 50-year history, but they're only going to be fruitful for those that are willing to adopt a long-term perspective. And that's what we're doing here at London Real. We're going all in for the next 10 years. And again, I know this because 10 years ago, I started with the democratization of information on YouTube. We built London Real. 500 million people have watched our stuff. Now we're going to do the same with democratizing finance for billions of people around the world that just don't have access to basic financial markets. This will change humanity as we know it. And I'm going to teach you how you can profit from this incredible dislocation of wealth. And I can't wait to get started. Let me say before we get started, what you're about to see is educational content. It is not financial advice. Now, before we get started, I've gotten so many emails and so many questions. I wanted to address it right now because everyone is asking me, Brian, what is going on with your DeFi Academy? And so many of you have already been to the page and you've seen our DeFi Academy and you've seen everything that's going on here. A lot of you have already applied. And the DeFi Academy is simple. I want you to join me and I will teach you on how to profit from the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. I'm looking for a small, select group of people who want to become part of and actively participate in the upcoming DeFi revolution. I'm looking for serious individuals only with real net worth who want to help build this exciting financial infrastructure of the future. I'm looking for partners, collaborators, and colleagues who want to join forces with us and create real value and generational wealth. Our first live course, the Defy Accelerator, the keys to unlock a $9 trillion marketplace, it's starting on June 21st. There's not much time left. It's 4 weeks. It's 4 modules. It's by invitation only. And you can see that application only that I put up earlier. And again, it's coming up very soon. My first live call is on June 21st. We are running out of time and we only have limited spaces left. My team has been inundated with hundreds and hundreds of applications from incredible people around the world. I've been so impressed by the high level of people that want to get involved with us for the next 10 years and build the infrastructure of the future. There is massive interest and passion here. We've already accepted some people. They're already in our private group. They're already uploading their videos. They're already adding value. We're already talking about these marketplaces. And I can't wait to start this course on the 21st. I will say this, if you've already applied, wait for your inbox because you might get one of these in your inbox. And let me just show you a screenshot of a picture that's going to change your life forever. This is you becoming accepted into my DeFi Academy. Only a select number of people have got these emails. If you get one, strap in your seatbelt because your life is about to change. You're going to join us on this incredible adventure. But again, to get there, you have to apply. So again, I'm only looking for a select group of people. If you want to apply, go to londonreal.tv/DeFi, DEFI now. Submit the application process. Sell me on why you should be a part of this team. What do you bring to the process? Do you bring knowledge? Do you bring connections? Do you bring enthusiasm? That's what I'm looking for. Type that in the application. It comes directly to me. I am approving all of these personally. And of course, you're going to get the email if that's for you. Let me just say right now, the DeFi Academy is not for everyone. And let me tell you who it's not for. The DeFi Academy is not for crypto day traders. This is not a get-rich-quick scheme. I'm not looking at anybody that wants to do that. This is not for people who love meme coins and people who like to troll in the forums. This is not for blockchain fanboys. And this is not for all sorts of crypto academics that want to ponder the science of crypto. I am looking for a small group of people who are willing to pull the trigger and get into the arena. That's what I'm looking for. These people are going to experience failure, but we're also going to experience great success. And to be very clear, this is not some get rich quick scheme. If you want to go find one of those, there's thousands of them on the internet when it comes to this space. This is not what this is about. My team and I are going to be building in and investing in the crucial infrastructure of the future. That is DeFi, the digital financial system of the future. And again, there's going to be some incredible opportunities and we're looking forward to it, but only those with a long-term perspective need apply. Like I said, we're closing this out in a matter of days. So go to londonreal.tv/DeFi to apply and be part of this. It's extremely exciting. All right. Today we're live and I want to get questions from you right now. I've got this streaming everywhere right now. We got people on Instagram. We got people on Facebook, on YouTube, on Twitter. We also got a whole crew that are joining me on Zoom. So if you're on Zoom right now, throw your hands up and give me a big wave. I want to show you out to everybody that's here right now. Just throw your hands up. Give me some love on Zoom. And I want everybody to type and answer one of these questions for me right now. They're coming right to my iPad, and I'm going to read these off in real time and hopefully educate you when it comes to this space. First of all, answer this question for me. Are you tired of the banks stealing your money with hidden fees, costs, and margins? Answer that question. Next, what question do you have for me about DeFi? And do you think it will revolutionize finance and give financial freedom back to the people? Question 3, would you like to learn from me on how to profit from the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history? And the last question is, have you invested in DeFi platforms and cryptos? And if so, which ones and why? Answer those questions right now. Share this live stream wherever you are right now. And let's get into what I want to talk about today. And let's talk about part 1, and that is the crashing crypto markets. I posted this on Instagram yesterday, and this was literally a shot. I was on Binance on my phone. I was at the gym, and bam, I looked at my phone, and you got Bitcoin down 11%, Ethereum down 13%. Some of these coins were down over 20% yesterday. Everyone's panicking. All the newbies are selling. All the leveraged investors in the futures markets are getting stopped out. The market's crashing even further. Everyone's talking about Bitcoin going to $19,000. It makes me laugh because I've been trading the markets for 30 years, and it all feels like new blood that's panicking when things happen. And I want to talk about why crashing crypto markets are amazing. I was smiling. I put a vlog up yesterday with a big smile on my face. I was grinning ear to ear, baby, because it means now is the time where DeFi, the infrastructure of the future, is going to be built. And let me talk a little bit about that, because DeFi markets are anti-fragile. And this is a term that I talked about earlier. It was originated by Nassim Taleb. He wrote a whole book about this. And anti-fragile is something that actually thrives when it's exposed to volatility, randomness, disorder, stressors. Anti-fragile things, they love adventure. They love risk. They love uncertainty. I don't know about you, but I'm quite anti-fragile. When you put me in a bad situation, I might not enjoy it. When you make me run an Ironman race, when I go run for mayor of London, I'm put through a lot of stress, but I always come back stronger. And the same is true about these markets. And the same is true, I think, about most people. And I think Nietzsche once said, that which does not kill us makes us stronger. And the same is true for DeFi. So when we see markets crash, we see DeFi infrastructure improve. And now, sure, there's always problems. There's issues. Sometimes there's tech that breaks. Sometimes there's people that cry, that take losses. Sometimes there's blood on the streets when it comes to people and their portfolios. But the DeFi infrastructure always gets stronger. How do I know this? Well, let's take a look back to Black Thursday, which was March 12th of 2020 last year. I'm going to put a graph up on the screen of what Bitcoin looked like on that day. And you can see this massive drop. Bitcoin dropped 40% in 24 hours. Ethereum dropped 30% in 24 hours. And everybody was freaking out. All right. The global pandemic was on as if people didn't have enough to worry about. I was in here broadcasting episodes, fighting for your right to free speech. And of course, these crypto markets are going into the toilet, as we used to say when I traded on Wall Street. Ethereum gas fees shot up through the roof, making transactions extremely expensive. The whole system was stress tested, all right? And innovations were created. Some things broke. They found problems. They found inconsistencies with some of the DeFi protocols. But this all led to an incredible period now called the DeFi summer. And this was a period of innovation from April 2020 to September 2020 that built many of the platforms and protocols that we are using today. I'm talking about things like Compound's governance system, Yearn Finance, and SushiSwap was all created during the summer. And the Uniswap monthly volume went up 100 times, okay? This is one of the decentralized exchanges. It went from 169 million of volume in April up to 15 billion in volume in September. Imagine that. Imagine that. Everyone's licking their wounds, whining on the forums about how they lost money in Bitcoin. And meanwhile, Uniswap is 100xing its volume in a matter of months, almost dwarfing some of the centralized exchanges like Coinbase. Some of these DEXs are bigger than those right now. So again, this is what I'm talking about with anti-fragile. And this is why you need to be with a group of people that see past the news headlines and see deeper and can actually see this is a great thing for decentralized finance because we see innovation happening in the background. In fact, if we don't see volatile crypto markets, I would argue that we won't know if these new DeFi platforms are actually strong enough and anti-fragile enough. So I welcome big crashes and big spikes when it comes to Bitcoin, Ethereum, some of these other cryptocurrencies, because I see innovation coming from here. And right now, I am predicting another DeFi summer of 2021 that's going to come out of these volatility pieces that we've seen over the past few weeks, whether it's Elon Musk or some news coming from China or some news coming from El Salvador. There's always something happening. All of these things are going to help DeFi build in the background, but you need to know where to invest. You need to know how to invest, and you need to have the right investment philosophy. And again, I've seen so many people come and go in the financial markets. I've seen a sucker. There's one born every minute. And I've seen scared money run when they don't have that long-term perspective. And you need a peer group of people to be around that can constantly remind what you're doing here. And that is investing with a 10-year horizon. And I'm looking at DeFi the same way I looked at London Real 10 years ago. When I started on October 2011, broadcasting my first episode, everyone thought I was crazy. Everyone thought YouTube was for cat videos. Everyone thought that mainstream news media would never be replaced by the internet. Well, I disagreed. 10 years later, our channel is bigger than most newspapers here in London. Our channel has more relevance than most broadcasting channels, including the BBC on most days. So who was right and who was wrong? Right now, I'm going all in on DeFi. And if you want to come with me on this adventure, imagine where we're going to be in 2031. Imagine the infrastructure that we're going to help create. Imagine the billions of people that we're going to empower on the back of this. So now I want to hear from you. We're going to the questions right now. So whether you're on Zoom or Instagram or on Facebook, answer these questions from me right now. First of all, tell me, are you tired of banks stealing your money with hidden fees, cost, and margins? Next, ask me what questions do you have about DeFi and why do you think it will revolutionize finance and give financial freedom back to the people? Third, tell me, would you like to learn from me on how to profit from the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history? And lastly, tell me, have you invested in DeFi platforms and cryptos? And if so, tell me which ones and why. I'm going to my live questions that are coming in here. I'm over here on Slack feeling these things, and I got tons happening here. I got Kat J over here on our Zoom call. What's up, Kat? And if everybody can give me a wave here on Zoom, just everybody give me a wave. We'll show everybody here what's happening on Zoom. We appreciate everybody coming in here. And Zoom is a way just to get a little bit closer to us. And I'll be having a chat with everyone there today. And Kat J, and I just heard a gong here from my team in there. So someone has just been accepted into the DeFi Academy and they have joined. So I just want to say congratulations. I'll get their name here printing shortly. We've got another person that we have welcomed into our academy, and we appreciate you. You will be seen with me on our live call on June 21st, and I can't wait to get this academy started. Kat J on Zoom asks, Brian, hi, I'm from Toronto, Canada. Can I participate in the DeFi course? And of course, Kat, all you have to do is go to londonreal.tv/DeFi, submit your application. It goes to me and my team. We approve it. After that, you're going to get that email as soon as you see it. Lock in your place because we've got just a few left. And it was Malcolm that just joined us. Malcolm, I want to say welcome to you. Get into the group, upload your introduction video. I've got a bunch of things I need you to watch right now. I need you to read. I need you to get ready for our first live call, and welcome to the wild ride because it's about to get crazy. I got Yaku Marin on Instagram that says, oh my God, he spoke with Robert Kiyosaki. Yaku, I'm blessed. I spoke with over 1,000 of the greatest minds on the planet over the last 10 years at London Real. I have spoke with some amazing people. I'm good friends with Robert Kiyosaki. We had an incredible time when I was out in Phoenix with him. We had a sit-down interview there. He's been here in the studio. His wife, Kim Kiyosaki's been here, and he was live with me on Monday. You can go watch that episode right now on London Real. And I'm going to play a video clip from that episode with Robert, where he's going to tell you from the horse's mouth, he doesn't invest in stocks or bonds or mutual funds, but he does invest in Bitcoin and Ethereum, and we're going to talk about why. So can't wait to talk to you about that. I got G Stewart on Instagram saying, how long before paper money is non-existent? And G Stewart is talking about the thing everyone's talking about, which is fiat currencies. What does fiat mean? Well, it's one of those main currencies that are controlled by a central bank where they can print as much of it as they want, which means that all of that money that we've been taught all of our lives to value so much, all those $100 bills, those 100 bands that you see flashed around on all the hip hop videos. Everybody talks about money, but the value isn't in the money itself, because that money could be worthless if it's run by central bankers that print it at will. And that's why people are looking to real assets. And people like Robert Kiyosaki, who traditionally have held real estate, have held gold and silver, are now holding Bitcoin and Ethereum because they see these things as holding value better than the US dollar. Can you believe that? This is the new reality. If you're not educated about this, all of that money you have in your savings account in these normal fiat currencies, whether it's a euro or a yen or a dollar, it could be worthless. And that's what we want to talk about today. And that's what DeFi talks about as well. So great question. Let me get through some of these before I get into my second point here. And I want to play that video of Robert Kiyosaki for you right now. Jason Koch on YouTube says, cryptos are crashing, ? Looks like they're going back up again. And DeFi is built on blockchains like Ethereum. Jason, great point. That's the thing about these crypto markets. Yesterday, the sky was falling, right? Remember that? It was like that bird that was kept yelling, the sky is falling, the sky is falling. Yesterday, everyone thought Bitcoin was going to $19,000, right? Today, it's back up again 10%, all right? And again, I'm WhatsApping all of my people yesterday on the inside, and they're all saying, I'm buying at these levels, Brian. I'm buying here. And so again, your peer group is everything. They say you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Well, if you're hanging out on forums and on some of these cheap news sites, you're probably sold all your Bitcoin yesterday at the wrong level, and you're probably crying today. And so again, we have to look at these markets and the volatility as a good thing. And that's why we're investing long-term in DeFi infrastructure. I couldn't care less what happens to Bitcoin or Ethereum on a daily basis. I couldn't care less. Matter of fact, some base level of volatility is important to stress test and make anti-fragile my DeFi investments. And so this is a beautiful thing. When viewed through the light lens, you will see this in a completely different way. If you're a crypto day trader or you're hanging out with those people, then you'll get a rush of adrenaline and endorphins when you see things go up and down. But that's not how long-term investors think. And I'll talk about that today. Next, let's talk with Ton Monique on Instagram, simply buy the dip. Okay. We'll talk more about ways to trade. And I'll talk more about this on Friday on my Real Deal or DeFi Real. We got Peter Ruler on Instagram, says, Brian, dropping the sauce right now. Peter, I never thought I would tap in to my 15 years of financial trading experience like I have now. And, for the last 10 years on London Real, I've had people like Robert Kiyosaki in here. I've had people like Jim Rickards in here. I've had people like Nomi Prince, ex-Wall Street insiders that are now criticizing the system. And so I actually know a lot about this stuff, and I'm feeling great about getting back into these markets and telling you how I used to trade these things back in the 90s, the 2000s, and the lessons I can pass on to some of the younger traders of today. And I can't wait to drop all this science in the DeFi Academy. And people are signing up by the hundreds, and we couldn't be more excited. So keep those applications coming in. We got Chris Pursehouse on Zoom that says, yes, fed up of banks. We all need to take control of our money, not invested yet. So Chris is saying he can see the writing on the wall. We're all suspicious of the currencies that we hold. He's not invested yet, but he knows that something isn't right here. And the truth is this: you have been brainwashed your whole life. You've been sold a narrative that you're not competent enough to handle the money that you make by working every day. That's ridiculous. That's like saying you're not competent enough to make decisions about your own body. That's like saying you're not smart enough to make decisions about your own freedom of speech or what you can put in your own body. We don't believe that here at London Real. And that's why we want to empower you, and we want to empower the people, because I believe the more you know about your finances, the more value you can create for the world. And so we're all about giving financial freedom back to the people, especially to the billions of people that just have no access right now, and yet they have access to a smartphone. That's enough to get started with our DeFi platforms. And that's what we're going to build going forward. A couple more questions here. We got Nikki Shepard on our Zoom call today, said, I'd love to learn the shizzle you know and from you, as I have a high opinion of you. Thank you, Nikki. I appreciate this. Again, in 1993, I started work on Wall Street. I was 21 years old. I was on the 33rd floor of Bankers Trust Plaza. They gave me a phone in one hand that said, this goes to the Chicago Board of Trade. They gave me a phone in this hand. This goes to our treasury traders right down the trading floor there. Here's your massive book of risk called a swap book here. Go. And I was like, are you kidding me? And they said, yeah, go. So I learned the hard way. I learned by trading billions of dollars worth of instruments. I learned how to structure derivatives. I learned how to price options. I learned how to trade futures, treasury bonds, you name it. And I'm passing that knowledge on to people right now in my DeFi Accelerator. So I can't wait to teach you what I learned about trading the markets. And again, it's all about discipline, and it's not about emotion. And what I see happening in crypto and even in the DeFi space, people are losing money because they're trading on emotion. Lesson number one on Wall Street is never get emotional about stock. That's what Gordon Gekko said. It clouds your judgment, and it does. That's why we're going to be very disciplined inside the DeFi Academy. And I can't wait to get started on that first live call on June 21st. A couple more here. I got Nina Madavi on our Zoom call today, said, what's the best way to use DeFi when markets crash? What's the best way to protect your investment? Nina, the truth is this. We want the crashes because it makes our DeFi investments more anti-fragile or anti-fragile to begin with. And the other thing you're going to have is a long-term horizon. So again, you have to have a strong stomach here, but we can also position ourselves in a way to invest in tokens, governance systems, and platforms that don't have the same volatility as some of these baseline cryptocurrencies like Ethereum and Bitcoin. And I'll talk about more of that in Module 2 and Module 3 inside the DeFi Accelerator. A couple more. We got Mazden on our Zoom call today that said DeFi will do to the banks what the computer did to the typewriter. Ooh, think about that. That's deep. DeFi will do to the banks what the computer did to the typewriter. Mazden, I'd have to agree with you. DeFi is going to make all of this obsolete. And it's funny you said that, because I'm in my studio right now. And if we cut to the wide shot here, you can see over my left-hand shoulder, there's actually typewriters on the wall. I think we're on that shot right now. You see typewriters behind me, right? Now, when my son Caden came in here, he's 5 years old, he went up and he started pressing his hands on that thing. And he said, Daddy, what is that? He said, what is that? And I said, Caden, that's a typewriter. That's the way we used to put our thoughts on a piece of paper and we would communicate them with each other. And he said, what is that? And the truth is this, my son will probably say the same thing about banks when he's 15 years old. What are these things? What are these old buildings that have these big columns in them that now are restaurants? And I'm like, well, Caden, those used to be banks. But he said, Daddy, my bank is on my phone. I don't even know what that is. And I'm like, exactly. That's what DeFi is going to do. It's going to make these things unrecognizable to our children and our grandchildren. And that's why we're investing in them now. It's happening. You can be a part of it or you can watch it happen. Last comment comes from Jean-Luc Trepanier. I'm probably messing your name up on Zoom, who says, yes, I'm tired of banks being the bottleneck to many innovations. Yes, DeFi and Ethereum can change the financial world, which will change the whole world. Yes, I currently have DeFi investments. Jean-Luc, sounds like I want to see you inside our DeFi Academy, but I couldn't agree with you more. The banks stop innovation. And let me explain this. When I was at Bankers Trust, I worked with a great team of really smart people. They recruited me from MIT because I had an engineering degree and I understood all sorts of financial markets and models. I could program on computers. And they put us to work innovating products. But that could only be done at Bankers Trust and at Goldman Sachs and at JP Morgan because we had billions of dollars on a balance sheet. We were approved by the Federal Reserve. We had all of these systems in place so we could deal with counterparty risk, which meant only about 10 institutions were innovating. With DeFi, literally 10 million people can be innovating right now. And I see incredible stuff happening from Norway, from Sweden, from the continent of Africa, from Asia, from people we don't even know their names, like Satoshi Nakamoto, are out there doing it anonymously. That's the beautiful thing. Innovation is not being stopped right now. And that's why I can't wait to get started with DeFi. So let's go to point number 2. We're moving fast here. Pay attention. If you're here out here, leave me a question, leave me an answer to one of my questions, like this video, share this video. Let me get into part 2 and let me tell you about this incredible conversation I had with Robert Kiyosaki yesterday. This is a picture of us in studio the last time he was here. And Robert's an incredible man. If you don't know who he is the author of Rich Dad, Poor Dad, which is the #1 selling personal finance book of all time. If you haven't read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, then I recommend you go get a copy of that right now. One of the most important quotes from that book, and something Robert said to me live on Monday evening, is he said, Brian, he said this, quote, "Poor people work for money. Rich people make money work for them." Which one are you? Which one are you? Type that in the chat right now. Just be honest. Say I'm poor or I'm rich. Poor people work for money. Rich people make money work for them. I would argue you're poor. I bet you're poor, because I was poor for the first 10 years of my life because I was working for a paycheck. Even when I worked in the banking sector, I was working for a paycheck. Every single month, I waited for someone else to pay me. I was working for money. I wasn't making money work for me. And it's a shift in mindset that's going to allow you to invest in DeFi infrastructure. And it's going to also allow you to build generational wealth because you have been brainwashed. And again, I'm thinking very seriously about this right now because my 2 boys are in school right now. Caden's 5 years old. Damon's about to turn 4 years old. And they're in an education system that was built in the industrial age to create workers, right? That's how education started in this country here in Britain. They needed something to do with the kids when their parents were in the factories. So they sent them to school, and school was there to make more workers. And so the entire system is there to brainwash you into preparing you for a job, right? To get you enough skills so someone else can make you work for money. And these are lies that are perpetuated, and they infect the very psyche of your brain. They go almost down to a DNA level, to where even if I'm telling you this right now, and even if you say, oh yeah, you're right, Brian, you're right, you still will have a hard time kicking it because it's ingrained into everything you do. Every reaction you have is a scarcity of where's my paycheck? Where's my paycheck? That means I better do what they say. Or in the last year, it's where's my furlough check? Or where's my subsidy check coming from the government? It's the same type of brainwashing. And those same people have told you this, that you are not smart enough to manage your own money. You're not capable enough to manage your own money. Matter of fact, there's so much smarter people out there that are capable of managing your money, of telling you about science, of telling you about your own freedom of speech, about telling you what to put in your body, about telling you when people are allowed to campaign to be mayor of London. There's experts out there, and you should always listen to them and never listen to your own self or your own gut or your own feelings. All right. And if you see where I'm going here, you'll probably know a little bit about what I'm talking about. And I'll explain what we've been fighting for the past 10 years, which is freedom of speech, freedom for democracy, and financial freedom for you. And you have to take this back right now. And it's a mindset, and it starts with you. And when I was talking with Robert on Monday, he reminded me of this brainwashing that's happening. And Robert didn't pull any punches. He started blasting teachers. He blasted bankers. He doesn't trust anybody on Wall Street, and he shouldn't. And I know that because I've worked there. He doesn't trust the governments. He doesn't trust anybody involved in this racket that basically tries to make you feel inferior and that takes away your money, your freedom, your livelihood, your rights, and your future. And so Robert said to me this. He said, Brian, quote, I don't have stocks. I don't have mutual funds. I don't have dollars. He said, I have debt and I have crypto. That's a direct quote from Robert Kiyosaki, 74 years old, probably one of the smartest men I've ever met when it comes to managing money. Robert's invested in Bitcoin. He's invested in Ethereum because he doesn't see anything else out there that holds value as good as those two assets. And that includes dollars, stocks, mutual funds, etc. And yet most of you are probably invested in these instruments. You probably have a savings account at your bank with a bunch of dollars or pounds or euros in it. You probably have a IRA or a 401k in America or some pension fund here in the UK where people are holding some random stocks that you know nothing about. And that is what you're promising or hoping that you're going to live off when you're old and that your kids are going to do. The last point that Robert made, and then I want to play this video for you, is that he said, Brian, I create value through entrepreneurship, through creating infrastructure and ideas that are going to change the future. And that's exactly what we're doing inside the DeFi Academy. We are building the financial infrastructure of the future. This is a long-term play. We want to build the systems that are going to change the world and empower people all over the world to get basic access to finance. There's 1 billion people on the continent of Africa right now that can't even borrow on a microloan right now. It would probably be incredible investment if we could pull those together and get access. They don't even have access to that, even though they have access to a basic smartphone. Something is fundamentally wrong with that. And that's one of the many things that DeFi is going to empower. So let me play this video for you of Robert talking about his philosophy of money and what he is investing. Watch this video right now. And that's why I'm excited about DeFi, because I think it's a way to give financial freedom back to the people. And I've gone all in on this. We've created our own DeFi Academy, and we want to educate and invest in this space for the future. But I'm curious what you think, Robert. You know, when I've looked at some of the innovation happening in the space in the last 12 months, it's a bit like what we were doing 30 years ago with derivatives on Wall Street, except people all around the world are doing it. And Robert, they're doing it in a transparent way. So curious your take on it, because you've seen booms and busts your whole career. So what are your thoughts here?
Well, it's probably the reason I wrote Rich Dad, Poor Dad. And it's simply because I don't trust the central banks. I don't trust the Treasury. I don't trust Wall Street. And I don't trust our school system. And as we were talking before you came on, it's what drives me. I don't need the money. But the other thing too is what Rich Dad Poor Dad is about is if you don't know anything about money, you have no freedom. You see, the reason there's no financial education in schools is to keep people tethered to the paycheck. So as you recall, you had so many people in your program, you got deplatformed, Trump gets deplatformed. There are many doctors who got fired in the States today. If you don't take the shot, you get fired. So if you just step back for a moment and ask yourself, who in the world can fire you because you need that paycheck? Well, it goes all the way back to school. They say, go to school to get a job. It's in that mantra that sits between your left ear and your right ear that they hold you prisoner. So what you're talking about here is I don't have any stocks or bonds or mutual funds. I don't have dollars. I use debt. I use everything they tell me not to do.
And there he is, the man himself. If you want to watch that full episode, you go to londonreal.tv. All of our episodes are for free. And again, Robert really dropped science there. I hope you paid attention to what he's saying there. We've been brainwashed. The education system has taught you that you can't create value, so you have to work for money. It's also brainwashed you that money is valuable, and it's not in itself. What's valuable is the space between your left ear and your right ear, your brain. What can you create by building the infrastructure of the future? Look at the incredible people that create value, from Elon Musk to Steve Jobs to Jeff Bezos. They created value through entrepreneurship, and that's exactly what we're going to do with the DeFi infrastructure. We're going to create the financial future, the internet of money, if you will, and we're also going to give people an alternative to storing their value and get people out of dollars and back into control of their own finances. But until you see the game that's been played on you, it's very hard to see the matrix and get out of it. So understand, we've all been brainwashed into this system of working for money, which is why we're poor. Rich people make money work for them. So I want you to think about that. And now I want you to answer these questions for me. Whatever your platform you're on right now, submit them now and tell me, are you tired of the bank stealing your money with your hidden fees, costs, and margins? Are you tired of governments telling you what you can and cannot do with your money and regulating you and taxing you and not even allowing you access to basic financial freedoms? Next, tell me, what questions do you have for me right now about DeFi? And do you think it will revolutionize finance and give the financial freedom back to the people? Third, would you like to learn from me on how to profit from the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history? And have you submitted your application for my DeFi Academy at londonreal.tv/DeFi? Lastly, have you invested in DeFi platforms up to now? And have you invested in cryptocurrencies? And if so, which ones and why? All right, wherever you're out there, leave me a question, whether you're on Zoom or whether you're on Instagram, whether you're on Facebook or YouTube. If you never asked me a question before, leave me a comment right now. These are coming in as we speak. We've got Marco D'Arcangelo on Zoom today. What's up, Marco? Who says, to work with you in the future, it would be a huge honor to learn from you as a mentor and grow together as a team to bring humanity to financial freedom. Marco, I appreciate that. I hope you join our academy. I hope you put in a great application that I can read right after I get off this call. And I hope I can welcome you in. This is going to be an incredible group. We're going to work together for the next 10 years. We will be the pioneers of this infrastructure, and we are going to empower people. Again, I've spent the last 10 years giving people the freedom of information, giving people freedom of speech, giving people the right to free and fair elections. And this is a continuation of the theme and the mission of what we do here at London Real. And I couldn't be more excited. This has got me waking up early and staying up late. And I can't wait to take this small group of people inside my DeFi Academy on an incredible adventure. We literally are going to build generational wealth. We're going to create amazing value for billions of people around the world. And we're going to create the financial infrastructure for our children and grandchildren. So Marco, I look forward to seeing you in there. I got Menelik Garraway on our Zoom today. Great to have everybody on Zoom. And again, if you're on our email list, you get the Zoom invites. So just go to our website, londonreal.tv, and sign up to watch any episode, and you'll get on that email list. Menelik says, quote, I want to be part of this so I can actually invest in Africa and build in my homeland. You know, Menelik, like I said, I think there's 1 billion people in Africa that can't get a basic microloan. And imagine if we can empower the farmers, the entrepreneurs, the businessmen and women in Africa to do this. It would be such a great investment. It would pay off more than the stock market, more than anything else we can invest in. And yet these people don't have access, and we don't have access to them as investors because the banks don't allow it. The governments don't allow it. Guess what? We don't need them anymore. We don't need them. Let's cut them out. Let's cut out the middleman, and let's go direct to the customer and create them for infrastructure that's going to change them. I'm sure all my old buddies on Wall Street in the city of London right now are cringing as they're watching this. They're saying, Brian, don't tell them what we used to do. Don't tell them what we do here. This is how we make all this money. This is how we drive these cars around. Well, guess what? The time for all of that is over. You only deserve that if you're creating real value for people. And I'm sorry, the banking system stopped doing that 10 years ago. It's time for revolution. It's time for change. And I can't wait to lead the charge with all of you by my side as we go forward and build the future of money. I couldn't be more excited. So thank you so much for that comment. We got Anthony Minnick on Zoom today that says, quote, how do you think your experience on Wall Street will enable you to see opportunities in DeFi? Well, Anthony, it's a great question. You know, I started looking at this space, well, years ago, and even more so, even months ago. And the innovation I saw happening in decentralized finance is the exact thing I was doing 30 years ago when I was pricing and trading complex derivative instruments on Wall Street. This happened in 1993, 1994, and 1995. And at the company I worked at, Bankers Trust at the time, we were pretty much the best in the business. We were known as the scrappy, smart rocket scientists who didn't have the fancy name like Goldman Sachs or the long legacy like JP Morgan, but we had the best products on the street. And we were creating customized risk and derivatives in a way that nobody had seen before. We were packaging it up. We were stripping out risk and transferring it to certain counterparties. And we were doing things no one had even heard of. And I've seen the same thing happening in DeFi right now. And yet it's not happening from the banks. It's not happening in the hedge funds. It's happening from a coder in Norway or some developer in Nigeria or from some rocket scientist in Singapore. And they're coming up with real solutions to real problems in the DeFi ecosystem. Everything from liquidity pools to yield farming. All these innovations are happening at rapid speed. The things that took Wall Street 10 years to do, I'm seeing happening in 10 weeks in the DeFi infrastructure. And again, to further answer your question, when we see markets crash like we did yesterday in crypto, Ethereum, and Bitcoin, we actually stress test these DeFi ecosystems and we find out, is the stable coin concept going to work? A stable coin is collateralized by 60% of a coin like Ethereum. Is that going to work when Ethereum drops 10, 15% in a day? What happens when it happens 30% in a day? Are those stable coins going to stay stable? I want to find out now, not later. So that's why I welcome all these things in. And again, I've seen these things from the inside. I've priced this risk. I've seen where the margins are, and I've seen where the pitfalls are as well. And so when I look at DeFi, I see it through a brand new lens, and I understand all of these concepts. Honestly, it's like riding a bike. They come back like this. And so all of my background when it comes to complex derivatives, when it comes to fixed income markets, and we were doing the best stuff out there, is now coming into play when it comes to DeFi. And I can't wait to apply that into the infrastructure we're going to build. So great question. I appreciate that. Keep them coming. Leave me a question right now, wherever you're at. I got Dimitri, West Coast on Instagram, says, I need someone to please help me learn to invest. I never learned how to do this. And you know, Dimitri, the first thing I learned when it comes to the space of DeFi is that there's no one you can trust out there. Now pay attention to what I'm saying. There's nobody I can call when the markets bottom out yesterday or a new DeFi system goes online. There's no trusted source of information. All there are a bunch of news sites that literally we created about 6 months ago. There's YouTube channels of people, I don't know who they are. There's trolls on forums that are saying this and saying that. But there's no trusted source. There's no one who I've been watching for the past 10 years, like on London Real. There's nobody that I can call up who I trust because they've been trading this stuff and they are a source of knowledge. And that's one of the reasons we created the DeFi Academy. So we could pool a group of people that we know and trust and we can learn from. And it's already happening inside the DeFi Academy. We already have a group of people that are already trading opinions and insights. And look, sometimes people are wrong and sometimes people are right. But over time, we start to realize that together we are stronger than as individuals. And so we are building, honestly, an incredible community of people that are going to make the correct financial infrastructure investments of the future. And Dimitri, I feel you. You know, if it wasn't for what I'm creating inside the DeFi Academy, I have very few people I can call. Sure, I can call Tika up. I can call Robert up. I can call Jim Rickards up. I can call Peter Schiff up. I know a lot of the people, but I'm looking for a bigger group of people that I want to develop over time, that we can pool our knowledge, our resources, our education, and our information to make those decisions. And Dimitri, honestly, if you're not inside the DeFi Academy, I don't think you have a chance because there's so much misinformation out there that it's no wonder most people are getting taken to the cleaners. And the truth is this, 90% of crypto day traders are losing money. That's just the truth. And if they're very honest right now, they'll say, yeah, you're right, Brian, I've lost money over the last couple of years. And that's because you're not trading for the long term. You're not investing in DeFi, and you don't have a trusted source of information. We're going to change all that with the DeFi Academy. Next, we got Josu Gonzalez on YouTube that says, quote, DeFi will take away power from the state, just like the printing press took away power from the church. Woo, Josu, you're going deep on me here, and you've got a great point. We forget that back in the day, before the printing press happened, the church had a lot of that information because you'd have to go to the church and they would try to dissect what was happening in the Bible. And so you always had that gatekeeper that could always control the information and control the interpretation of information. And when the printing press happened, well, first of all, it allowed people to now read the Bible, and then you could start creating concepts and ideas that you could print yourself. And it meant, just like he's saying, that you could now go peer-to-peer, and you didn't have a central institution or a gatekeeper. And one of the things that Robert said to me on Monday, he said, Brian, when I think about central institutions, I think about communism. I think about the Soviet Union. I think about Mao. I think about Marxism. These are systems that are set up to control us and to turn us into worker bees with no thought process, with no wealth, with no control over our future. So when I hear something like central government or centralized finance, he said, that looks wrong to me. I'm all about capitalism. I'm all about freedom. And I am as well. And so again, if you see anything that looks like someone is trying to take your power away, or trying to make you feel stupid or ignorant, or trying to make you feel like you can't make your own decisions, run the other way, create something of your own, create the infrastructure. So a great parallel. I appreciate that. And again, this is why we love the DeFi Academy, because we get great insights from people like you, Josu. So I hope you apply, and I hope to see you in there. Jamie McKinnon on our Zoom call today says, my feeling on DeFi is the same as when I first read the Bitcoin white paper, which means, Jamie, you're super excited. And again, one of the things that everybody inside my DeFi Academy will be doing before our first live call is reading the Bitcoin white paper. It's not that long, and it's worth consuming. And anyone who's read it knew right away that this was something special, because there's accountability in that white paper. It means that there's not one person who decides. There's not a gatekeeper. There's not someone who can change the rules. That's what people love about Bitcoin, because it has a perfection in its decentralization. And we're going to apply those same philosophies, those same protocols into the DeFi infrastructure of the future. Great insight, Jamie. Again, this is why I'm so excited about pooling the right group of people to be in our long-term DeFi Academy, because we're going to get insights like that on a daily basis. So thank you so much. I got Edgar Miguel Chavez on Zoom today. Says, does this remind you of the old dot-com bubble? You know, Edgar, it does a bit. And a lot of you know that I was the CFO of a dot-com startup in 1999 in New York City. I was 27 years old. I was underqualified, if I'm honest. We raised $15 million. It was called luxuryfinder.com. We spent it all. We created a website. We ended up selling our assets later to eLuxury and the guys over at LVMH, the French entrepreneurs there that own all the big brands like Louis Vuitton, et cetera. And I learned a lot, because the NASDAQ went to a crazy peak. I think I was worth millions of dollars at one point on paper, and then it all crashed. And so I've seen price volatility before, but as Andreas Antonopoulos, who used to be referred to as Bitcoin Jesus himself, said to me back when I had him on the show in 2015, he said, the price of Bitcoin is not the point. And I said, what do you mean, Andreas? I mean, that's all people are talking about. He said, the price of Bitcoin is not the point. You're missing, you're not seeing the forest for the trees. The point is the infrastructure that we're building here is the game changer, the blockchain itself. And, you know, Andreas was predicting what happened last year in the DeFi summer, that we would finally use this blockchain to build real DeFi infrastructure. And that was the point. And the same thing happened to the internet in the year 2000. Sure, the dot-com industry lost $1 trillion of worth, but the internet grew bigger than it ever had before. People started using it to buy things. They started using it for information. To get their news. So it was actually the best year on record for the infrastructure of the internet. And the same is true for DeFi. So it's an incredible parallel. And I couldn't agree with that statement more, but you have to make sure you focus on that more than ever. And I just heard the gong that happens out here in our studio, and I'll go hit the gong on you later. Go follow me on Instagram, which means another person has just been accepted into our DeFi Academy. If somebody can give me their name over here on the chat, I'll give them a shout out. Another person has decided to come with me on this adventure and build the infrastructure of the future. Again, I need you to put your intro video right now inside the group. I need you to start getting familiar with the course materials. And then on June 21st, Monday, 6 p.m. London time, I'll be live for module 1, and we're going to go on an incredible adventure together. So again, if you want to be a part of that, go to londonreal.tv/DeFi, submit your application. But again, really sell me on why you should be a part of this group. It's an incredible group of people. And I'll give you your shout out name right now for who just joined us. And we really appreciate that. That's Christian that just joined us. So we appreciate you, Christian. Thank you so much. We got an incredible group of people here. Again, I'm so excited about the group of people and what we're doing here and what we're going to build in the future. I haven't been this excited since I started London Real 10 years ago. All right, a couple more questions until I get to our last and final point. And I appreciate everybody here. Keep leaving me questions. Share this video with your social platforms, with your WhatsApp groups. We really appreciate it. All right. Andres Monroy on Instagram says, make money work for you. And he's basically quoting Robert Kiyosaki. And that's so true. You know, stop working for that paycheck, build the infrastructure. And that's what we're going to do right now. And we're quite literally going to make money work for us by building the decentralized financial infrastructure of the future. Honestly, this is something your grandchildren are going to talk about. They're going to mention your name as one of the pioneers, the way we talk about Thomas Edison, the way we talk about the founding fathers in America. They're going to talk about the people that are building the infrastructure today. And I can't wait to get started. We got Studio Judith on Instagram says, they teach you what to think, not how to think. Studio, you're so right. And again, I worry about what my boys are being taught right now, even subconsciously in school. Obviously, when they come home at night, daddy is teaching them other things. I'm teaching them to take risks, to be entrepreneurial, not to believe everything you heard, and to be counterintuitive. That's what I'm teaching my boys. But I am concerned that we've all been taught how to be worker bees. and not how to think for ourselves. DeFi is the essence of thinking for yourself. DeFi is the essence of your own personal freedom. Someday we will talk about financial freedom the same way we talk about freedom of speech, the same way we talk about free and fair elections, the same way we talk about the freedom of sovereignty over your own body. Most people don't even know that's a basic human right they don't have access to, financial freedom. Isn't that sad? You don't even know that you should have that financial freedom, and we want to empower people. A couple more questions before I get back to my final point. We've got Nathaniel Davis on Zoom call that asks, quote, can people in the United States participate in the program? I'm learning that US citizens cannot get involved in some projects because the person needs to be an accredited investor. It's a great question, Nathaniel. Anyone can join us on the DeFi Academy. That means people in the US and in Canada. Again, this is education about what we're talking about here. It's not financial advice. And again, all the investments you're going to make are going to be your decisions to make. But we're going to be a group of people, a community of people in the know, a trusted source of information, of people that you're going to collaborate with, probably people we're going to invest together with, and we're going to be people that we find the right information with. And so this is a group of people that are going to learn together, and they're going to create things together as well. So it's a great question. But no, there's no restrictions. And again, that's why we call it an academy. This is about education, but education is where it starts. Education empowers everything else. There is no entrepreneurialism without education. There are no billionaires without education. So you got to learn first and learn what you don't know. So great question. Last question comes from Carol Stevenson on our Zoom call, who says, I have invested in a number of coins, and yes, I want to understand about DeFi and be guided with yours and Robert's knowledge. Brian. Carol, great. Please join us. Go to londonreal.tv/DeFi. Submit your application right now. Give me a great reason why I should accept you, and then come and join us. There's not much time left, so get your applications in as soon as possible. One last question. Mazen Fardin on our Zoom call today says, quote, I've been accepted, and I'm excited to learn and interact with people who are passionate about the future. Mazen, great. You've been accepted. All you have to do now is enroll. And once you get in there, we'll get you up to speed as soon as possible. We appreciate you. Lock your spot in now before we shut this thing down. And I appreciate you. All right, let me get to my last point before we go. And this is the third part. And this is quite simply this: how I am going to teach you how to profit from DeFi and what I am calling the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. And again, let me be clear about this. The opportunities that we see here are those you only see once in a lifetime. And I'm not exaggerating. I've been around the block. I'm 50 years old. I've been broadcasting for 10 years. I've spoken with over 1,000 of the greatest minds in the planet. I've been there and done that. I've seen .com booms and busts. I've traded on Wall Street. I was in London for the financial crisis. I've seen it all. This is something very, very special. The DeFi market has grown 88 times in the past 12 months, 8,800%. Okay. The .com boom wasn't anywhere near that kind of growth. This is something incredible. But the winners are going to be the ones that take a long-term view, and those that have discipline and want to add real value to the end user. Let me repeat that. The winners in this space are the ones that take a long-term view, that have discipline, and want to add real value to the end user. Now, what do you mean by that, Brian? Well, 10 years ago, I started London Real. And again, I started podcasting when nobody was podcasting. I was on YouTube when cat videos were on YouTube. And what I was doing is that I saw an opportunity to democratize information. Never before had people been able to get information themselves, to go to YouTube and learn breathing techniques from Wim Hof, to learn about their mentality and about their spirituality from someone like Sadhguru, to learn from someone like Robert Kiyosaki about money, to learn from someone like Dan Pena when it comes to pulling the trigger. I made all of that power possible through my YouTube channel, London Real. But I did it because I took a long-term perspective, and I thought about how can I add value to people over time. So I created episodes that were hours in length. We created a studio like this, multi-camera editing. We created as much content as we possibly could. And we changed the lives of 500 million people that watched our content. Again, this was my long-term perspective. And that's how we built up this incredible piece of infrastructure that is London Real. And again, I'm humbled to be a part of it. And it's the reason I'm talking to you today. The only reason I was able to do this is because I didn't take a short-term perspective. I wasn't day trading YouTube. I wasn't trying to make a bunch of money and get out. I was trying to create long-term value for my customers and my end users. And that's the same philosophy that we are going to use inside the DeFi Academy. And so if you come with me on this journey, everything is going to be about long-term value add through our DeFi infrastructure plays and investments. Again, I want to be clear about this. This is not for day traders. This is not for the get rich quick people. Please go somewhere else. I don't have time for that. I'm too old for that. All right. Again, this is about giving financial freedom back to the people. And again, I think this is all about freedom, what we're doing here. And I spent the last 10 years trying to give people the freedom to information. So you can now go on London Real and learn how to do a number of things, from running Ironman races to drinking ayahuasca to doing cold water treatment to, again, learning about money, learning about spirituality. All of that can be found on my channel, London Real. And last year, we took it a step further when we put everything on the line to fight for freedom of speech. We stood up and went against big tech. We went right up against Alphabet, which owns YouTube, and a $1 trillion company. And we fought head to head, and we created our own platform to make sure that you had the right to free speech and you could listen to the ideas of people out there, especially in terms of crisis. And we felt amazing about what we did. But again, for me, this was a long-term investment, and it was something I believed in, which was freedom. Just earlier this year, I ran to be the next mayor of London. And in January, I was stopped by 10 police officers who approached me in 5 police vans. They surrounded me on a snowy day in January. And they said, "You do not have the right to campaign to be the next mayor of London. We're going to ban you from campaigning." And I looked at them like they were from another planet. And I said, "How can you ban me from campaigning? The last time I checked, we're living in a democracy. The last time I checked, the free world has free and fair elections." A part of me thought I need to call the UN, the guys with the funny helmets, and put them on every street corner in London to make sure we could have free and fair elections. And so we put everything on the line to fight for your choice, to have your say when it comes to government and democracy. And so this is just an extension of what we do here at London Real and what we spent the last 10 years doing. This is now fighting for your financial freedom and for the financial freedom for billions of people around the world that don't have basic access to financial markets, not to mention extended access. Not only do I want those people in Africa to have basic lending and borrowing access, to have access to financial instruments, but what about having access to insurance contracts, to derivative instruments? What about that? Don't they have the right to that? Isn't that their human right for financial freedom? I believe it is. And again, if you want to be a part of a team that is changing the game, that's what we're creating here. And again, it only comes from that long-term perspective. It comes from discipline, which means when things like yesterday happen and we see Bitcoin crash by 15%, and today it's back up 10%. And trust me, it's going to go up and down for the next 10 or 20 years. If that is the kind of thing that makes you emotional, if that's the kind of thing that makes you want to run for the hills, then this isn't for you. I'm looking for people with discipline, with a long-term perspective, that want to add value to the end user and create real financial freedom for people out there. And if you're interested in that, then I think DeFi is for you. And that's because we want to give financial freedom back to the people. And so I'm talking about making a change for billions of people worldwide. And that's ultimately why I created the DeFi Academy. It's a place where you can learn from the best in the business, where I can teach you how to profit from the greatest dislocation of wealth in human history. And again, I'm just looking for a small, select group of people, because the people in my group are going to affect my decisions. You're going to affect my investment choices. And so I need to make sure I vet these people to make sure that I'm bringing the right information in, because every person that joins this academy is going to be someone I collaborate with over the next 10 years. And I believe we are going to create the financial infrastructure of the future. So again, I'm looking for serious individuals that are excited about creating the financial infrastructure of the future. Those same people that got excited when you read the Bitcoin white paper, those people that still can't sleep at night when you think about all the possibilities of Bitcoin. I'm looking for partners, collaborators, and colleagues who want to join forces with us and create real value for the end user and create generational wealth for you and your family. And again, if you're one of those people, apply now at londonreal.tv/DeFi, DEFI. Again, we've got days left until this course starts. Spaces are running out. So put your application in now. And if you get accepted, lock your place in immediately, because we're going to close this thing out. The first live call is happening. And to be very clear, this academy is not for crypto day traders. This academy is not for people looking to get rich quick. This academy is not for meme coin fans and forum trolls. And this academy is not for blockchain fanboys and crypto academics. You know who I'm talking about. Some of my former colleagues at MIT that love studying the science of crypto. I'm not looking for those people. I'm looking for people who want to pull the trigger. I'm looking for people who want to get their hands dirty, who want to get a little bloody, who want to take some risk, who want to take some hits, who want to feel some losses, but also who want to set themselves up for great success. And I've been around some high performance people over the past 10 years. And trust me, the people that you look up to, the people you revere, the billionaires that I've had in my studio, they got there because they weren't afraid to fail. But got back to what Robert Kiyosaki said, the education system teaches you not to fail. Don't get the wrong answer on the test. Don't make a mistake. It breeds a bunch of scared, risk-averse worker bees that don't even think they have the intelligence to manage their own money. Well, guess what? We are changing that whole mentality inside the DeFi Academy. And I want to build people that have a new mentality and want to create the infrastructure of the future. So we're going to see incredible opportunities. We're going to see great risks, but we're going to see great financial wealth built as well. I'm looking for 10 years and I'm looking for people to join me. The first course is called the Defy Accelerator. It's unlocking the $9 trillion of dislocated wealth that are going to happen. It's 4 weeks, 4 modules. It's by invitation only. You must go and apply right now at londonreal.tv/DeFi. That's DEFI. Submit your application. There's going to be 8 hours of live calls. And again, I'm doing this for 3 reasons. First, the insights and perspectives that I'm going to give you are extremely valuable. You're not going to find these anywhere else in the world. Second, I want this group to be small so I can dedicate as much time as possible to it, because I want to be learning from you and I'm going to invest in the future. And third, I only want those with a long-term perspective to be involved in that. And let me just break down exactly what's going to happen in the DeFi Accelerator itself. Week 1, we go deep on DeFi Explained. I'm going to decode the history of this complex marketplace. And again, from the Bitcoin creation back in 2009, all the way up to Ethereum 2.0 that's launching this year. I want to talk about how do we get here and why does this phenomenon represent the biggest dislocation of wealth in human history? Only by understanding our history can we be in a position to predict the future. And again, we're going to start by learning the evolution of DeFi from Bitcoin creation in 2009, Ethereum creation in 2015, the launch of Maker and smart contract evolution. Then we're going to move on to Ether Delta and the first decentralized exchange, or DEX. We're going to talk about the ICO boom and bust of 2017 and 2018. A lot of tears, a lot of mistakes, but a lot of lessons learned. We're going to talk about the creation of the user to contract model. Again, an amazing innovation that would have taken Wall Street 10 years. We're going to talk about Uniswap and the creation of liquidity pools. We're going to talk about synthetics. We're going to talk about Black Thursday, which I alluded to earlier, March 12th of 2020. We're going to talk about compound liquidity mining. We're going to talk about the DeFi summer of last year. I'm going to go deep on that. We're going to talk about Yearn and the emergence of yield farming. And finally, we're going to talk about the future, which is Ethereum 2.0 and beyond. That all happens in week 1. We'll be doing that on Monday, June 21st at 6 p.m. UK time, and then Thursday as well on what I call the workshop call. I'll be live on both of those calls talking to you. And I'll be going through the entire week 1. Then we get into the fun stuff, week 2, which is getting into the arena and placing your bets. I'm going to show you how to efficiently buy your Bitcoin, your Ethereum, your DAI, your stable coins, and altcoins. I'm going to show you how to bulletproof and understand your hot and cold storage systems and wallets. Again, a lot of pros don't even have this set up, and we're going to do it now. You'll thank me later. I'm going to show you how to bulletproof and understand these systems and wallets. Next, you're going to understand your centralized exchanges and your DEXs and which marketplace suits you I'm going to show you about the pros and cons of all of them. And of course, we're going to start executing your first swaps across multiple platforms. Again, I am looking for people that are looking to pull the trigger and get your hands dirty. That's how I teach inside my academies. I've graduated over 5,000 students in 108 countries over the past 6.5 years. And trust me, when you learn from me, you get in the arena. You get your hands dirty. You create products. You create videos. You create audio podcasts. And we're going to do the same inside here in the DeFi Academy. Week 3, it starts to get real fun because we're talking about DEXs, dApps, yield farming, and the complex instruments that make this fun. I'm talking about financing your coins. We're going to go through yield farming basics. We're going to talk about complex money markets explained. We're going to understand liquidity pools, smart contracts, and insurance. Yes, there's DeFi insurance. And we're going to go into derivatives. This is my background, the exciting future of DeFi. I'm talking about synthetic stocks, synthetic commodities, and of course, how to price and trade basic call and put options on DeFi. And then we're going to go into all the exotic options as well. And this is where my background really is going to come into play. And if that isn't enough, we got week 4. And this is how to bet on the future of DeFi to position your portfolio for the 22nd century. I'm going to show you how to manage risk. It's a game of controlling your emotions. I'm going to show you how to place asymmetrical trades for long-term gains. I'm going to show you how to manage a portfolio of assets. I'm going to show you how to set up and understand stop loss orders, how to continually educate yourself on new market phenomena because the best is yet to come. And let me make one point about that last philosophy. I want to create a growth mindset in you to where you are learning how to learn. And this is the essence of London Real. Look at what I've been doing for the past 10 years. I'm trying to teach you how to teach yourself. You should constantly be innovating and learning yourself. And once you get into this habit, honestly, you are limitless. And that's the kind of mentality that we instill inside all of our academies here. And DeFi Academy is no different. Of course, there's even more because I've got a bonus. I'm going to throw in how to trade DeFi for long-term gain. So I'm going to show and share with you my position and my picks for the future. I'm going to explain exactly how I manage risk. I'm going to show exactly my systems, my sheets, and how I actually manage my emotions on a day-to-day basis. And I'm going to teach you the lessons I learned from 30 years trading inside the financial markets. And I got all sorts of stories from back in the day, from trading bond futures back in 1993 to trading credit derivative indexes back in 2008 during the financial crisis. We made a ton of money back then. And I'll talk about what I learned then and how you can apply that to the future. Lastly, I'll welcome you in to my DeFi Investment Wizards group. And this is the long-term group where we're going to have the best in the business investing in and trading. And this is for only graduating members of my DeFi Academy. And again, you have to be accepted to my program and graduate from my program to be allowed and invited in my DeFi Investment Wizards group. And this is, again, a place that pools all the resources from around the world. We have the information from the top players in the business. And this is where the real opportunities happen and they're found. And this is where the big infrastructure investments are going to be made. This stuff changes on a daily basis. You need to be in this group. You need to know what's happening. And of course, I'll be in there on a daily, probably hourly basis. So just to wrap up, the DeFi Accelerator has 8 hours of live calls, personal coaching by me, personal live streaming by me on every single one of those calls. You've got exclusive access to our online e-learning platform with all of our videos and our workbooks. You've got my triple-tiered accountability system I have used live for over 6 years. Again, I've graduated over 5,000 students from 108 countries. You've got dedicated coaches, team leaders, and community managers that are going to work with you every single day. I've got a whole group of people that are with you on this whole adventure. Again, we have the best academy in the business. All right. We do. And you're going to feel it once you get in there. We've got, of course, our private Facebook group for posting all the assignments, the videos, getting feedback. We've already got our members in there already introducing themselves. We've got an incredible group of people in there and exchanging information. We've got a limited number of spaces available. And again, we're closing this out in a matter of days. It's an application only basis. So go submit your application right now. And of course, the accelerator is the only way to get access to my DeFi Wizards investment group. This opportunity is worth easily $10,000, probably more like $20,000, $25,000. But we have discounted this massively because we want to get the right people in the door. And again, we're offering this investment opportunity for a mild amount of money. It's $24.97 to get access to this. So this is only for serious long-term players. Again, apply now. Go to londonreal.tv/DeFi. That's DEFI. Put in your information. Give me an application. Tell me, sell me on why you should be a part of this group. Submit your application in now. And again, if you get the acceptance email, lock your spot in immediately. Click the link, put in your digits from your plastic, and lock the spot in, because these are going fast. And I'll see you on that first live call. I want to finish off with my last Q&A session from you. Give me your questions right now. Tell me, are you tired of banks stealing your money with hidden fees, costs, and margins? Tell me, what questions you have for me right now about DeFi? And do you think it will revolutionize finance and give financial freedom back to the people? Third, would you like to learn from me and give on how to profit, of course, from the greatest dislocation of wealth in history and give financial freedom back to the people? And finally, have you invested in DeFi platforms, and what cryptos are you invested in and why? Leave me your questions now. This is your last chance. So if you've never submitted a question before, give me one right now. Again, wherever you're at, share this video. Give me your likes, give me your feelings. And I'll give you a few more here before we finish up. We got Diamond on Instagram says, we love you. Appreciate you so much. Thank you, Diamond. I appreciate you all. This means as much to me. I love doing these things. We got Jedak8 on Instagram says, what course is this? I want to join. Jedak, if you're a bit late, it's the DeFi Academy. The first course is our 4-week DeFi Accelerator. Go to londonreal.tv/DeFi. That's DEFI to apply. We got someone on YouTube that says, quote, it's about time someone puts their reputation on the line to wage war on the CeFi system. I would like to get involved in this revolution, in all caps. And, he's saying CeFi, which means centralized finance. And, it's a good point. I am putting everything on the lines. I'm putting my reputation, I'm putting my history, I'm putting my business, I'm putting my channel all on the line because I believe in DeFi. But this is something that I've done before. And whenever I see a basic human right or a basic freedom being taken away, it makes me angry. And so we are willing to do this, because 20 years from now, my children are going to say, what did you do, Papa? What did you do back in the great crisis of 2020 and the great crisis of 2021? What did you do? Did you make some videos, or did you actually fight for freedom of speech? Did you fight for free and fair elections? Did you fight for people's financial freedom? And I can look at my sons and said, yes, Daddy actually put it on the line and did something that means something. And that's why we're here. And that's why we're going all in on this infrastructure. I couldn't be more excited. And again, I'm looking for a small group of people that want to come with me on this incredible ride. I've got Paul Grants, who, by the way, has signed up for the DeFi Academy, who's on our Zoom call right now, that says, we appreciate your platform. You've done amazing things to open people's minds to truth. Paul, we appreciate you. It's great to have you already in our academy and our accelerator. And I can't wait to get started and move on in the future. And so I want to finish by asking you one final question, and that is this. What are you going to do? What are you going to do right now? I'm not talking about tomorrow. I'm not talking about next week. This opportunity won't be here next month or next year. What are you going to do right now? And this always reminds me of one of my favorite scenes from the movie Wall Street. And yes, it's one of my favorite movies. What can I say? And it's when Bud Fox meets Gordon Gekko. And I think we've got a screenshot here going up from the movie. And yeah, this is Bud Fox, the young kid going to see the elephants, right? The big experienced trader. And Bud Fox he realizes this is his one chance to do something with his life. And Bud gets a box of Cuban cigars from his connections at the airport. And he goes to see Gordon. And you can take the image off the screen now. And he goes to his secretary, and he cons his way into Gekko's office. And Natalie, his secretary, she's not impressed that Bud just showed up, but he's got the box of Cuban cigars. It is Gordon Gekko's birthday. And Bud has been calling his office 108 days in a row or whatever it is. And so Gekko gives him a chance. And right before Bud goes in the office, he straightens his tie in the mirror in Gekko's office with all his expensive pieces of art hanging out in the lobby. And Bud looks at it himself and he says, life all comes down to a few moments. This is one of them. And then he walks into the office and he pitches Gordon like a pro, and he lands him as a client. Well, this is your moment. Life all comes down to a few moments, and this is one of them. If you're watching me right now, there's a reason you're here. This is a fork in the road in your future. You have a choice. Are you going to pitch me like Bud pitched Gekko and apply now and tell me why you want to be a part of this? Or are you going to be telling your kids and grandkids one day that I almost got involved in that DeFi? I was looking at it, but I never did anything. I could have been part of it. I could have created generational wealth. I could have done something important with my life, but I went and worked for money instead, as opposed to making money work for me. Well, you have the choice right now. It's simple. You know what to do. You can seize this opportunity and help me create the financial infrastructure of the future. You can create the generational wealth that you've always wanted, and you can take advantage of this moment. And that's what I would say. So go now and apply. Go to londonreal.tv/DeFi. That's DEFI. Submit your application. I will go read it right now after this call. And if you have what it takes, and again, it could be anything. It could be enthusiasm, education, opportunities, investments. If I see you as someone I want in my inner circle, then I'll bring you in and you can go off for this incredible journey. So apply now, become part of my elite team. And I look forward to you being a part of the DeFi Academy and the DeFi Accelerator. I couldn't be more excited to go on this journey. This is an incredible moment in time. 10 years ago, I started London Real. And at the time, everyone thought I was crazy. Nobody could see the future that I could see. Nobody could see my vision, but that was okay. I kept my discipline. I worked every single day. I created great assets and infrastructure that added value long-term to my customers and my end users, my viewers. And by doing so, we helped the lives of 500 million people around the world. And that was that long-term thinking that helped us create something that's so special and that's changed the lives of millions of people around the world. I'm doing the same thing right now with DeFi and decentralized finance. If you want to be a part of it, come join my elite team, submit your application to the DeFi Academy. We've got days left to make this happen. So do it now. And if you get accepted, join me. It's going to be an incredible ride. And I look forward to seeing you on that first live call. My academies are no joke. They're a lot of fun. They're a lot of hard work. And it's going to require you getting out of your comfort zone, but it also means great rewards, great successes. And I want to help you create generational wealth for all of us and financial freedom for the world. So thank you so much. I love talking about this stuff. If this video has helped you, please share it with other people. Obviously, like and subscribe and all that good stuff. And I look forward to our incredible financial future. Let's invest in DeFi. Let's cut out these middlemen, these gatekeepers. Let's get rid of these financial institutions and these bankers and these governments. And let's really democratize finance for everyone in the world. Join me, and I'll see you next time on our next DeFi broadcast. Take care. Thank you.